Man City just beat Chelsea 2-0 away at Stamford Bridge while playing the game literally in second gear. They were playing that game on semi-pro level. They did not break a sweat at all, but they still really were very comfortable against Chelsea, and that was not supposed to be the case. New manager, this is supposed to be a rejuvenated Chelsea, made so many signings. They're at home, first game of the season against the champions, and Chelsea basically offered nothing. But now let's get into the most interesting, the only really interesting thing that happened during the game, and then this was this handball shout. Now Kovacic seemed to have handled the ball in the penalty area. A penalty wasn't given. The ref on the day, you guessed it, Anthony Taylor. Chelsea fans must be sick of this man. VAR didn't also support Chelsea's claims for handball as well, so it was literally waved away. But to be honest, this one is not bad. So last season, we know that there were shambolic decisions made by the officials and VAR was used in a bad manner. Last season, it was terrible, the worst that we've ever seen. And it looks like they're trying to put it right this season. How? For example, these decisions, when it comes to subjective handball decisions, there'll be more logic added upon it. So if you're looking at this decision, Gusto was very close to Kovacic when he literally just smacked that ball and it hit Kovacic's hand, and he was basically a distance away. Like he was so close that you couldn't expect him to like move his hand out the way or anything. So that one is clearly ball to hand. I think it's more ball to hand than any handball. It's never a penalty, and that is being fair to defenders. So defenders in defending situations in the box, if we're really being fair to them, we know that there is nothing they can do about these sort of decisions or these sort of balls that get hit against them. It was literally smacked against his arm and it hit his elbow, which was pretty close to his body. So yes, maybe his arm is a little bit in the air, but it's not like it hit his hand. It hit his elbow and he was literally just so close. So you can understand and you can definitely agree with the referee's subjective decision to give it to City in this case, right? So another instance is you can see during the Euro what happened with that Cucurella handball. It was also deemed that we would judge logic and it was ball to hand rather than handball. Why? Although his arm was a little bit wide, he was coming in. He didn't stretch out intentionally to block the ball. His arm was moving inwards, right? He was coming in, and it was decided that it would be ball to hand because that is the logical thing to do. So it would be unfair to punish Cucurella for something that he really couldn't have expected. So I think it's a similar case in this way. We're starting to use more logic in football in judging handball for penalties, and to be honest, I'm completely fine with it. The only thing that we'd ask from the Premier League is, since this is match day 1 and you've set the precedent, please be consistent. Unlike last season, please, Premier League, be consistent. That's all we're asking. For every team, they should get then the benefit of this doubt when it comes to defending handball situations. Yeah, as for the rest of the game, Cucurella looks like he's been involved. He's been involved in this. He taunted Haaland after his Euro win. He taunted Haaland. He sang the song that Haaland is trembling. Haaland is shaking. Oh my God. Too soon. And let's just say, man, it ended in tears. As soon as he done that, you already were expecting Haaland to really turn up the beast mode at Stamford Bridge the next time he faces Cucurella. And it happened to be in the first game. And Haaland delivered. Haaland scored. He actually went past Cucurella when he did score. So he dribbled past him and he chipped it over the keeper. It was a brilliant finish. Cucurella was even subbed off, I think, later in the game. And the fans were mocking him. The City fans were mocking him as he was walking to the bench. Oh my God. It ended in tears. At the end of the day, Haaland won the game as well. So 1-0 Haaland. Kovacic made it 2. Kovacic with a rare goal. Beauty of a goal. Sanchez should have done better, in my opinion, as Chelsea's keeper. He got a hand to it. It wasn't strong enough, but it was a brilliant goal by Kovacic. Went and drove past Chelsea's midfield. Kovacic, who doesn't necessarily score, but he turned up the heat at Stamford Bridge. This man went past a 220 million midfield. And he's a former Chelsea player who Chelsea sold for 25 million to City, and he just breezed past their record signings to put one in the Chelsea net. That's absolutely unbelievable. What business is Chelsea running? I'm genuinely concerned about Chelsea this season. In my predictions, I did say that Chelsea will struggle again. I believe Chelsea will struggle again. I don't think Enzo Maresca will last that long, in my opinion. I just think there's so many things wrong with Chelsea. The fact, firstly, they have 45 players. What is going on? That person at the top, Todd Bowley, how is running this club? I don't don't know.
The first problem we got to get rid of is that slut upstairs.
Raheem Sterling releases a statement just before the game, before kickoff, because he was left out of the squad. The manager also not having that conversation with Raheem Sterling that maybe you are not in my plans, you know, but at the same time, it's like we don't know what's going on. Is he for sale? Is he not for sale? He didn't even make the bench. He's been involved in preseason. He's been fit. It's just a mess for me at Chelsea Football Club, and I'm genuinely concerned and worried about Chelsea again this season. I do not think they're touching anywhere near top 4. Nicholas Jackson again as the striker. I know they're in talks with Victor Osimhen. Can they fix that? No striker, no number 1 keeper. And like I said, City beat this Chelsea team while they were playing in second gear. Haaland literally said in his post-match interview that it felt like a preseason game, and that is insane. That is very disrespectful to say. And City have won a game without Rodri for the first time in a long time. Kovacic handled Chelsea, so Chelsea couldn't even beat City without Rodri, and we know that City basically lose every time Rodri is not on the field. So for me, interesting game. You looking to the bench, you're like, okay, come on, Chelsea, can you influence the game? You're trailing 1-0, and the players that are coming on, it's like, who are these niggas? Who are these players? Genuinely, Chelsea has spent $1 billion, and there's really no star players in this Chelsea team. It's incredible. Chelsea, so poor for me. So much work to be done there at Stamford Bridge. And it's still the start of the season. Hopefully they can get it together. We obviously wish them all the best. But for me, I am genuinely worried about Chelsea. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, and maybe to end it off on a positive for Chelsea, the last time Chelsea beat City was a few years ago in the Champions League final. Since then, they have not beaten City at all. It looks like City took that loss personally, but at least Chelsea fans can say we beat you when it mattered, and that was the time they won the UCL. So come on, maybe that's something positive to look at.